Hello, my name is Rodney. I'm from the PO Gamer QGamer YouTube channel, and today I'm going over some Christmas horror movies. I'm going to go over my. Actually, it's not. I started to say my top 5 or my top 10, but not really, because what I'm doing right now is I've actually just watched a few over the past probably 2 weeks. I mean, it's December, and I'm like, I'm going to get in the Christmas spirit by watching brutal murders. But actually, I watched one that I've always thought was a Christmas movie that took place during Christmas, and I was completely wrong. And I'm going to have two honorable mentions. One of them is this movie because I always thought it was a Christmas movie. Never really crossed my mind that it wasn't. And it's Child's Play. And I was like, oh, it's during the snow. This woman's going out trying to find this new toy for her son as a present. And then I mean, for years, I thought this was a Christmas movie. And it's not. She's buying it for his birthday. It just happens to take place during the wintertime, I think in Chicago. But I was like, holy cow, this is not a Christmas movie. This does not take during Christmas. So it's technically not a Christmas movie. So that's an honorable mention because it's not a Christmas movie. It can't make my list. And the second one I recently watched, and it's just so absurd. I don't own the movie because I never knew how good it would be. But I just watched it this year, and that is Jack Frost, and it's so crazy. It is. It's one of the craziest horror movies I think I've ever seen. The whole thing where Jack Frost is in the shower with this naked girl, and he literally pulls her inside of him. It's just so stupid and crazy. I mean, there's no way to describe it. Basically, you have a killer snowman. That's it. So that's my two honorable mentions. That because I've watched 7. Okay, technically 6 movies and a episode of a show, but that's neither here nor there. I'll get to that one here shortly. But yeah, that's kind of weird. I do have a few movies I watch during Christmas time. They are generally like Scrooged, Muppet Christmas Carol, things like that. And then there are the horror movies that I watch. And this year I've tried to branch out a little bit more than what I normally have. That's the reason why I watched Jack Frost. But Child's Play I hadn't watched in many, many years. And that's how I found out that it wasn't a Christmas movie, which actually really shocked me. But let's get to the first one. And it's not really a movie, but it is Tales from the Crypt. And you're like, Tales from the Crypt? That didn't... Yes, it did. I believe it was season 1. There's this murderer that's out. And he is just killing people. He's dressed up in a Santa outfit. And this woman knows he's outside their house. And she's running, and her daughter's asleep upstairs. So she's running around, making sure everything's closed up and everything. And because she's scared that he's going to get in. And, well, I'm going to spoil the end of this because, I mean, it's Tales from the Crypt. This episode is very, 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 very old. I mean, I think this is from the early 90s. But the ending is that her daughter lets Santa Claus in the house. And the ending is her standing with the door open, holding this man's hand. I mean, he looks like a homeless person, really scary looking. And she's at the top of the stairs. He goes, "Look, Mommy, Santa Claus." And the woman just kind of stares, and that's where it ends. It's great because there's not really any blood in it. There's nothing, but it's just this feeling like, oh God, like he has my child, and he's a murderer, and I've been trying to keep him, and it's just the feeling of dread it leaves you with. It's one of those that it's like I've said before, it's one of those feelings you never want to have, but watching something like that, it's a safe place to have. You can have that feeling, but you know there's nothing really wrong. You're safe, but that feeling of that ending of that episode. If I can find it, I cannot remember the name of it. I've actually got the DVD somewhere behind me because I actually got it out like 2 weeks ago and watched it and then put it back. But that's my first one. Next, I have a movie that I watched. I think I watched part three first, like in the like I think it was in the early to mid '90s. I watched part three, and I've never really watched the first one until like a year ago. And ever since then, I really enjoyed it. And that's Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's basically about a kid who lived in an orphanage, and he's going around killing people because of the kind of the crappy life he's had. So, I mean, he was put in an orphan. Yeah, I'm trying. I skipped. But his parents were murdered. He's put into an orphanage. So he dresses up as Santa, starts killing people. It's a really good horror movie. I highly recommend it. I believe they remade it. No, I'm looking at. They actually made another movie called Silent Night in like the early, I think 2015 or something like that, maybe. But Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's really good, and the sequels are really good. Actually, part three I think is my favorite, mainly because that was the first one I saw. Next one is going to be, many people consider a kids movie, but to me it's not. I really enjoy it. It scared the crap out of me as a kid. That's Gremlins. Gremlins I actually watched just a few days ago, and I was like, wow, this movie is a lot scarier than I remembered. It had been a number of years since I've seen it. I mean, you do have the cute character Gizmo, and you just have all these other characters that are just your stereotype. When you have like the Chinese guy, the old Chinese man that has the mogwai. He doesn't want to sell it, but the kid needs his son says we need the money, and then it's like, oh, just like a irresponsible teen. He lets it get wet, and then, oh, we got more of them, and then they eat after midnight, and it's just so much. I mean, the premise behind the movie is crazy. I mean, that this thing getting wet makes these things pop up, it creates more of them, and then if they eat after midnight, why is it after midnight? It doesn't really make sense. But it's a great movie. They turn into these really weird monsters and like kind of like a gremlin type thing, and they just basically cause all kinds of havoc. I mean, the scene with the old woman with the thing that takes her up the stairs. I mean, so many scenes like that are just so, I mean, really scary for a kid. I mean, when I watched the movie, I was like, oh my God. But now I love it. And all the great scenes and all the horror, that's not really gory, but all the things that are kind of left off camera, you're kind of like, oh man. But highly recommend it, Gremlins. Another movie that I actually had never seen until, actually I think just a few months ago. Somebody had recommended it to me, and I saw some people on YouTube talking about it, and I don't know why it just slipped through my radar, and that is Black Christmas. It's a slasher film, a really good one. It's like from '74, I believe. Basically you have a sorority house. Somebody is terrorizing them by calling and threatening them, and then over the Christmas break he starts killing them. That's a very, very short synopsis of the movie. The movie, saying the movie ends on a cliffhanger, it doesn't mean much today because so many movies do it. But this was in the '70s, and having a movie that just, you had this cliffhanger, and it's kind of like, oh gosh, I mean, you have this like empty house and everything. I highly recommend. Since this is one I've recently seen, and I was really impressed with it. I'm not going to spoil anything in this one, but it's it is kind of, it's the '70s. There were a lot of sorority house massacre type movies. Actually, I think there is a sorority house massacre movie. I think there's a sleepover massacre, which is basically the same movie, but this is very unique. Well, I can't say it's unique, but it's very, very good. A lot of the death scenes in it are really good. I mean, just like there's certain death scenes I want to say, but I don't want to spoil them because there's some of them are just like really, really good. But Black Christmas, I highly recommend it. Check it out. The last movie is actually something I just saw 2 days ago. And I don't own it. It's actually the only movie on my list that I don't own. And I was very impressed with it. I was like, wow. I remember actually seeing the previews for it, and I was like, that looks so stupid. I just don't. I really wasn't into the idea of it. And then I watched it, and I was like, holy cow, this is really good. And that is Krampus. And what that is basically you have Santa Claus's brother. I kind of forget what that was, or his shadow or something. Basically, Santa Claus gives Christmas presents to the good kids. Krampus comes and punishes the bad ones. And this movie takes place, you have this person that's with their family gets snowed in, and they find out they've been visited by Krampus before. And just this thing, you're locked inside your house, and you have this evil entity coming for you. Very good. The atmosphere in it is really, really good. I was so surprised when I watched this movie. I was like, honestly, it kind of had me on the edge of my seat to watch. I was like, oh my God, this is, and not by just horror, but because it surprised me how good it was. And that may be part of it. I may be going, wow, this is a lot better than I thought, which made it seem better than it really is. But when I watched it like 2 days ago, I really enjoyed the movie. And it actually has some pretty good creepy atmosphere in it. I mean, you're just all the snow, and you're locked in, and you can't get out. And it's like, holy cow. And that's what I think is really scary about it, because you have Krampus coming for you to punish you. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. That one is actually really surprising to me. Hope you enjoyed my list. This is a short list of Christmas movies that I think you really can't go wrong watching any of these, because they have some good scares in them. They aren't just stereotypical, oh, this is a horror movie that just happens to be set in Christmas. Like some of them are, a lot of them really are kind of, Christmas is kind of like a really good focus of the movie. I mean, like with Gremlins, the music and everything, it's like all the cheery music and then all this really evil stuff's going on. So, highly recommend checking out these movies. There's technically 7 movies, or 6 movies in an episode of Tales from the Crypt, but check them out. I think you'll highly enjoy them. Be back next week, another Fright Night Fridays video, and till next time. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release at least 2 videos a week. Most of the time I release more. Leaving a comment actually helps me a lot. Helps me know what you'd like, dislike, or would like to see on my channel. So go ahead and leave me a comment. If you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions, anything like that, you can go ahead and email me at vmail@pogamer.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time.